Hello and welcome. My name is Tom Shima, and today is Tuesday, June 9th. I'm going to be continuing to play the game Persona 3 Reload as part of my Persona A Day series. I'm going to start off by going over what we did yesterday to make sure we're all coming into today with the same information. From there, we'll get into today's gameplay and see what we can get up to. And after that, we'll come back here to the desk and talk a bit more about it. For any of you watching on YouTube, I will have timestamps in the description in case you want to jump to a specific section. And please be aware that as this is a full playthrough of the game, we will be encountering spoilers. So let's start off then by looking at what we did yesterday, Monday, June 8th. And wow, what a day it was. That was a day everything had been building up to for a while now. We knew that there was a full moon that was going to be happening on Monday. We were warned by the mysterious boy a week ago. So that had been in my head all week as we were preparing as best we could. We were having our equipment, our medicine, and just not knowing exactly what we were going to be facing, but knowing that it was going to be some sort of challenge. We had also made some discoveries on Saturday? Yeah, on Saturday night. We went to the outskirts of Port Island Station. We'd been investigating rumors of disappearances at the school and people ending up unconscious. And we learned more specifically that Fuuka was not recovering at the hospital as was told. She had been missing for almost 10 days at that point. That totally changed our investigation and gave us new leads to follow. So we came into school on Monday, yesterday, and we were told to assemble at the faculty office at lunch. Junpei met us at the gate and told us that we were all called there. He didn't have specifics, but that was the message, and we were following it. So we headed there at lunch, and when we got there was a girl who was introduced as Natsuki Moriyama, as well as the teacher, Mr. Ikoda. And they confirmed the truth about Fuuka Yamagishi not being in the hospital. Her location was unknown at that point. Mr. Ikoda was aware of that, but claimed that keeping it quiet was for the good of the students. Nobody really bought that, and Mitsuru was not happy to hear that. But we had some specifics to go off of now, and we knew that she had disappeared. Moriyama, she revealed that her and her friends had been bullying Fuuka, and back on May 29th, they had locked her in the gym overnight. They thought that this was just going to be another way to get at her, and whatever their reasoning was, it didn't really matter, but they did that to her, only to come back the next morning and find the gym still locked. But when they opened it up, Fuuka Yamagishi was missing. They had no idea where she went, other than she wasn't where they left her. After that, some of her friends started hearing a strange voice, and they would end up at or around the school and be found unconscious. More and more of them started suffering that same fate, so those were the people we had heard about over the week. And they were all worried, I guess, that they were going to be next. Natsuki especially worried that she was in for the same fate, but she also did kind of seem apologetic about what happened because she didn't expect anything to go this far. Knowing all this and trying to make our own plans, the team knew we had to do something to plan a rescue. We figured that if she was left in the gym overnight, the school becomes Tartarus at night, there was a chance that she was lost in Tartarus somewhere. So we knew we couldn't wait on this. It had to happen as soon as possible, as in last night. So that was our plan. We were going to head to the school during the evening and be ready for the dark hour to find, locate, and rescue Fuuka. Junpei was on the ball and getting us into the school by having a door left unlocked for us. So we got there in the evening and had to find a key to the gym. The gym was locked up, so we split up. Yukari and I headed down to the faculty office, while the rest of the team headed for the janitor's closet. Yukari and I managed to find the key, and it was decided that we were going to split into two groups. Junpei, Akihiko, and I were going to be the ones to head into the gym to try to plan the the rescue. Mitsuru would be providing support from the first floor in the lobby, and Yukari was going to stay back with her to provide support for Mitsuru. It seemed like a good balanced plan. Junpei insisted that he came along because he wanted to redeem himself for feeling like he messed up back last month when the moon was full. And I was glad to give him the chance, as was Akihiko. So we made our way to the gym for the dark hour. And as the clock turned, we entered Tartarus, but we're not exactly sure why. Maybe it was because we didn't enter the normal way, but somehow we got separated in the changeover process. And I had lost consciousness for some amount of time. And when I woke up, I was on some random floor of the tower. I couldn't get in contact with Mitsuru at the first floor, and I was by myself. So a lot of negatives to the start of our rescue mission here. And that was when the mysterious boy showed up. It was odd to see him away from the dorm. We saw him in the lobby the one time and in our room most of the other times, but here he was in Tartarus appearing to us. And he was just his calm, casual self and reminded us that the moon is full tonight. There's going to be that challenge that I warned you about. And if you don't hurry, you won't be able to save her, and we need to save her. And with that, he just smiled as he does and vanished the same way he always does. So I was able to get back to my feet, and the next course of action was to find the rest of the group. I went up a couple floors, and there weren't any terribly strong shadows, but I was a little nervous being by myself to fight them. Thankfully, that was no problem, and eventually I did come across Junpei and Akihiko. And they also looked no worse for the wear, so that was encouraging. And even better, right near us was also a voice that had been calling to us as we climbed. It was Fuuka. She was hiding behind some bit of structure in the tower there, and was encouraged to find something that wasn't a monster that was around. And so she had revealed that she has been in Tartarus during the dark hour ever since she was pushed in. And it was theorized that time passes differently during the dark hour, so rather than experiencing 10 days in Tartarus by herself, it was more like 10 hours, since the dark hour only appears for 1 hour a night. Still a lot of time to be isolated with monsters around, but much better than 10 days of it. And so, other than being scared and confused, she didn't look like she was in any danger, so that was very encouraging as well. And we all kind of agreed that that wasn't really the best place to be talking about it. Though Akihiko did kind of question, even though it was only 10 hours was a long time, and you just asked her, how were you able to stay safe? You don't have a persona or anything like that. And she said she wasn't exactly sure either, but somehow she just knew where the shadows were, like she could sense them. And using that knowledge, she was able to stay out of their way. Akihiko was quite impressed by that and said that sounds a lot like Mitsuru's ability, except possibly on an even greater scale. But whatever the case, we decided, that it was time to head back downstairs. Even though Fuuka wasn't in any peril right now, it didn't do us all any good to stay there any longer. So we started to make our descent, and as we did, we looked outside and just saw the bright full moon through an opening in the tower, and it looked as huge as it did back last month. And that's when the wheels kind of started turning in Akihiko's head, and it's like, wasn't the moon this full during the monorail incident? And Junpei corroborated, it's like, yeah, it sure was. And, we talked as well and said, yeah, I remember stopping on the tracks and looking up at it and talking to you guys about it. And Akihiko then went back another month and asked me if I remember the attack on the dorm in April, and if there was anything unique about the moon at that point. And that was at the point we realized that the moon was full that time as well. So 2 strange shadow attacks outside of Tartarus happened, each on a full moon. And seeing the full moon out on the horizon as well tonight made us wonder if maybe that was a trend that was going to continue. So that motivated us to increase our pace and get back down to reconvene with Yukari and Mitsuru, and to get Fuuka out of there. And when we got back down to the first floor, we saw Mitsuru and Yukari being attacked by 2 large shadows, unlike any we'd seen before. And they were obviously having a hard time. They were both struggling anyway. And so we tried to get the shadows' attention and get them to focus on us rather than on those 2. And it seemed like they were going to. Only at that point for Natsuki Moriyama from earlier in the day to arrive at Tartarus. We were trying to keep her at the dorm to keep her safe, to prevent her from ending up at the school like her friends had. But the same voice that called out to them had called out to her and summoned her to Tartarus. So she arrived just at this point, and the shadows turned their attention to her. That's when Fuuka looked less scared and a lot more determined as she ran over to Moriyama and used her evoker to summon her persona. It was quite the sight, and she managed to conjure some sort of globe of light that protected the both of them from the shadow's attacks. And that gave Akihiko, Junpei, and I enough of a chance to intervene and start combat with the 2 shadows ourselves. And they had a unique ability there where they would shift their weaknesses. They called it paradigm shift. So every couple of turns, they would change what they were strong against and weak against, and really kind of trying to throw us for a loop. That's why Mitsuru and Yukari were having so much trouble with them, since they couldn't nail down a weakness. And we were looking like it was going to be the same problem for us, only for Fuuka to interject and say that she doesn't know why, but she seems to have this ability to analyze and understand the creatures in front of her. And she revealed she had a full analysis ability that could instantly discern all of the strengths and weaknesses of a persona, or of a shadow. So she was able to kind of act in Mitsuru's traditional role, talking about the enemy's strengths and weaknesses. And we were able to use her knowledge to direct our attacks. So she was able to discern what the weakness was at the time after they shifted. We were able to capitalize on that, get some good strong all-out attacks in, and repeat the process when they changed. It really felt like a good strategic battle, and without Fuuka being there to guide us, it would have been much, much harder. thankfully, we were able to overcome the shadows. It was kind of a challenge, but again, we were able to capitalize strategically, and it really felt good. And so it seemed like at that point everyone was safe. Moriyama was okay, Fuuka was okay, Mitsuru and Yukari were fine, and the rest of our party made it through the battle without incident. At that point, Fuuka lost consciousness, which was momentarily concerning, but Mitsuru, being as level-headed as she is, reminded us that Yamagishi, that she had just awoken to her persona. And just like all of us when we first awoke to ours, it was an especially exhausting time. That made me think back when I awoke to mine, I was in the hospital recovering for something like 9 days. It stands to reason the same thing would happen again here. Moriyama was also unconscious, and she wasn't attuned to the dark hour or to the same potential that we were. It was revealed that she will probably not even remember anything that happened during the dark hour tonight, which seemed like kind of a shame because she was there apologizing to Fuuka for what they had done to her. But Mitsuru also said there that she thinks that some amount of that memory will linger with her, so I guess we'll see going forward. But we took both Fuuka and Moriyama to the hospital, where hopefully they should be back to normal, back to their healthy selves in a few days. And after that, the rest of us were probably equally as exhausted after everything that the day entailed, so we headed back to the dorm to get some well-earned sleep. So that was where that day ended, and actually by the way I was playing it, I ended up seeing a little bit of Tuesday because there was no ability to save the game for some amount of time. So I ended up saving the game at our first chance on Tuesday. So I said then it was kind of a preview of Tuesday, but the day had started out, talking today now, we started out at school this morning. Mitsuru was at the gates, and she greeted us and said that Moriyama and Yamagishi are both recovering safely in the hospital, and they expect to be released in a few days, which was very encouraging. Mitsuru said that Fuuka's abilities especially were quite interesting and would need to be understood, and it would be helpful if we could convince her to join us going forward. But that'll have to wait until she's out of the hospital and recovers, obviously. But if she can be convinced, it sounds like she would be a valuable asset for our team. So that was how Tuesday morning ended up. I was able to get to go to class after that, and we went through a normal school day that didn't call anything to our attention, so that was where I was able to save the game. So when we come into today, we're actually starting off Tuesday afternoon, but that's how it all ended up playing out. So it was quite a busy day. We overcame a lot yesterday. Let's see if we can just get back to a bit more of a normal, less stressful day today. It was a lot of fun, though, so I hope today's just as much fun. I'll take us over there, and it'll be just a second. Okay. So like I said, this is Tuesday. This is actually right where we ended up saving it yesterday because I wasn't able to save before school or at the day change. So please bear with me on that one. It seemed like the best thing I could do in the moment. I'd kind of said that if I had gone back to the last save point to reload just to see this morning, a lot of the battles would have played out differently and we wouldn't have the exact same outcomes as we had, experienced live. So that was my reasoning for ending up the way we did. But yeah, we made it through the time. We're all in one piece. And it was just very rewarding to get there. It looks like there's a lot of people with things to say today, too. And I guess there are a lot of days where it has kind of been the same, where there wasn't much going on in the morning when we start a day from the proper point, and we get to after school, so that's kind of akin to where we ended up today. And like I said, the game didn't call out anything specific about our school day, so we just had our normal classes and our lunch and our afternoon. And so just like that, we are here at after school. So, as we normally do at after school, I've got some mail. Let's start there. We've got Bebe. I must sew. I will come get you for club activities. Miyamoto and the track team. Let's run. Come on, let's go. You best pick up the pace. Kenji saying sup. Let's hang after school if you're free. And an ad from Hagakure. It's good for your skin. We'll let you in on a secret. Our ramen is really good for your skin. The collagen that our dishes contain is sure to make you stunning. Our tender pork is a friend of beautiful skin. Make yourself shine by eating at Hagakure. So that's a good look at things there. Let's also take a look eventually here at how people spent their day. The vast majority ended up doing social links, with a handful of people doing other daily life things. But the top candidates for social links were Bebe, Miyamoto, Tomochika, and Chihiro. If I were to look at that list, I could either see Bebe or Tomochika, probably. Tomochika has been the longest since I'd interacted with him. probably a little over a week for him. It was early in the week that we spent some time with Bebe, I believe. Miyamoto and Chihiro, we both did the latter part of last week. And there might be others out there as well that aren't in these top 4. Looking at our average level, we did all level up last night after the battle, so I believe I'm level 19 just like everybody else still. Yep, all 19. Well, other than Yukari. She wasn't in the battle though, so she didn't gain any experience from last night's encounter. But pretty close. Well, it looks like there's a lot of people to talk to, so why don't we start with that? Well, I've checked out all the new first-year girls. They're all pretty cute, but the glasses girl in the student council is especially cute, don't you think? We know who he's talking about. I'm not sure she would like that sort of attention from someone like him, but maybe she'll get there in time. Well, or she'll tolerate it anyway. Yukari, we made it. It was quite the day yesterday, wasn't it? Seems like Yamagishi-san is still asleep. I can't help but worry about her. Yeah, I mean, after everything she's been through, not just last night, but in general, sounds like she's been through quite a lot. Let's start with the stylish student here. Hey, I saw this girl last time in front of the station. She was wearing a frilly white dress. It was like a white goth. Isn't it getting hot to be wearing those kind of clothes? She must be seriously devoted to her look. There's no way I could pull that off in this kind of weather. Yeah, it definitely feels like we're moving into summer. That's, again, one of these fun things about playing the game in line with the real calendar. I'm going through the same seasonal changes they are, and it's getting just as warm where I am. Nice quick perusal of the roof here. This has been a place I'd neglected visiting a lot, so I'm trying to work that into our rotation a little bit more. We've got a couple students down here to listen in on. One of our good skills of eavesdropping. The informed students. I heard those people who fainted woke up. That's good. So I guess that means they didn't have apathy syndrome? See, just like I said, they were probably just sleep deprived from hanging out till late. Can't be apathy syndrome. So there is still just that much unknown going on, and nobody really does know what's happening. There have been rumors all week. Apathy syndrome was talked about, but nothing really came from that. I'd mentioned it yesterday. I wondered if any of you got it. I'm sure a lot of you did. But the weapon choices of the enemies we encountered, the Emperor and the Empress, they were a sword and a staff. And lo and behold, we've got some statues down here of a sword and a staff. So I always kind of liked the pairing there. Oh, even the school store's got something new to say.
Welcome.
Hi there, welcome.
Oh, yes.
I guess the heat doesn't bother you guys when you wear your summer clothes. As for me, there's no air conditioner in here, and it gets so hot. That is rough. Somebody way down the hall here. An earnest student. When I think of home economics, I think about cooking experiments and that kind of thing. I hear that some people burn their textbooks by accident by setting them too close to the stove. Doesn't sound good at all. Well, we've come this far. We might as well check out here. We've got nowhere else to specifically hurry off to. The fawning student here. Oh, she's probably still after the boy. Oh my god, did you see that? He just threw a rock at a bird resting on that branch. That's so cruel. I feel like we read that line before, but I remember thinking it was cruel back then too, and it seems just as cruel now. And still nobody back here. Didn't expect there to be, but now we know for sure. Guess I'm still kind of in that investigation mindset we were in all of last week. Nice that things came together the way they did, thankfully. And just kind of to have that room to breathe today and not be expecting the full moon or looking for missing people or, telling ghost stories or any of that. It just feels like a lot more of an easy-paced day. We're just out here talking to people for the sake of talking to them, not that we need anything specific from them. Waiting student. I'm waiting for my boyfriend. We're going to Wild Duck Burger. I was there over the weekend, attempted their challenge again. It's 2 weekends in a row now where we didn't quite succeed, but we made it better. We made better progress last time, so I'm encouraged for next time, hopefully. A very curious student. Have you heard that crazy rumor that's going around online? Apparently you can get revenge on someone just by signing up at a website. That sounds like an online rumor style thing. And that's kind of one of the fun things about this game, too, is like anything people say, there are times where it can come back to be important later, so they're really good at seeding information throughout the play from just random characters and places and things. So that's another fun thing about talking to people all over the place. You just start to see those little details. There's a lot of people to talk to around. I heard about the disaster from someone I know who works at GeckoCon High. Yeah, I was just gonna say, what disaster? Wow, I admire your apathy. That's the spirit. Whatever happens around you, just don't give a damn about it. An attitude like that will come in handy once you enter the workforce. Neuroforged, welcome. Great to see you again. Thank you for being here today. We made it through the investigation and the full moon last night, so we're just going around town and talking to people today and seeing what's up and just kind of taking that sigh of relief of having made it through the busy day yesterday. So a lot of people have some new stuff to say. We've got a snobby movie critic here. I sometimes see this girl sitting over there drawing. She has red hair and a white frilled dress. She stands out like a sore thumb. But just writing her off as some kind of weirdo doesn't sit right. It feels like I'm in a scene from a movie whenever she's there. I kind of like it. Smile at the Eiffel Tower showing at the theater today. Sounds interesting. We've got other things to do, so I don't see myself headed there, but I like to keep tabs on what movie's playing. The Ernest station worker, we haven't had anything to talk to him about in a while. If you go down the side street, you'll come to a spot where gangs gather. They always leave garbage behind and spray graffiti all over the walls. Every time, I'm the one who has to clean it up. I'm going to catch those gangs someday and make them clean it up themselves. I admire his determination, and I hope things work out for him. We're kind of more frequenting the station outskirts than we have, especially in my past playthroughs of the game. This here is the weak cat. This is like an unofficial mascot for our stream, as I've said before. We talk to it as much as we can. It says mew. I say mew to the cat. There's another cat that hangs out just over here. I like to think that they're connected in some way. And this place, yeah, sure looks different during the day compared to when we came on Saturday. Where to next? Oh, why not the Iwatodai Station Strip Mall? Even the cat-loving boy's got something new to say. It really does feel like we've turned a corner after the investigation and the full moon last night. I asked my friend if his cat was really expensive. You know what he said? He said it was free. He said his mom got the cat from the animal shelter. I didn't know you could do that. I thought you could only get cats from pet stores. I like how he's still trying to rationalize. His parents told him it was too expensive to have a cat, so being a kid, he did his own research. It's like, it's expensive? Let me ask my friends about that. My friends know what's what. It didn't cost you anything? Oh, I knew it. My parents were lying about that. The cat was free. It didn't cost them anything. Up and down these spiral staircases like we do. If everybody else has had new stuff to say, why don't we head across the street here and make sure over here? Still nothing new over here. The old couple is available at Bookworm, so that's another one to consider for our afternoon. No Maiko today. It has been a little while since we spent time with her, so I think next time we do have a chance, she would be a good one to catch up with again. Yep, nobody's here at the shrine at all, so we'll just enjoy our peace and quiet here in front of the sacred tree. Just a couple deep breaths. Just to take our minds off of the busy city life and just take it easy for a moment. All right. I'm at one with nature now. Let's continue on with our day. Actually, while we're here, maybe I should, give a bit more consideration on where we are going with our day. Yeah, like I said, on the list here, Bebe or Tomochika both seemed like good candidates. They'd probably been the two that I've spent the time with least recently. There's a really convoluted way to say that. The longest time ago that I spent any time with them. So I've got Nigi Mitama, the persona that would correspond to spending time with Bebe. I've got Jack-o'-lantern that would correspond with Kenji. I don't have the Hierophant, so doing anything with the elderly couple would kind of benefit me changing out my personas. So yeah, I think Bebe is also probably the lowest level of our social links right now. He is. So yeah, if we spend time with Bebe this afternoon, hopefully we can take him up to 3 and have him more in line with everybody else. We've still got to stop by Polonia Mall, of course. Figured I'd do a little bit of our recon now in our menus rather than in the moment once we get to the Velvet Room. Nobody to talk to here, as busy as every other place has been. And it is nice to see coming off the full moon, like a couple other people had been saying, and the people that were suffering from apathy syndrome, I'm not seeing them around anymore. We don't have as many people propped up against buildings or looking not so good. I guess we ended up on this side of things to start, so we'll stop in with Officer Kurosawa first off.
By the way,
those girls from your school who had apathy syndrome seem to have regained their senses. I'm guessing you all had a hand in that too. Now then, is there anything you need? I want to take a look. Seems like everything else has moved forward, so I wonder if his inventory has. I don't think I'll probably look to buy anything today, since he runs his sales on Mondays. I mean, I'll need to sooner or later, but if I can save some yen, I'd like to.
Uh-huh. What are you looking for?
Okay.
Take as long as you need. What are you looking for?
Okay, so there is no new gear yet, which is actually kind of nice. That means I'm not having to think about missing out on anything. So I'm just here to say hi to Officer Kurosawa, and I'm glad things seem peaceful today.
You finished?
I am.
Come back soon.
Good to have him looking out for us. Elizabeth, we made it through the full moon.
Good day. Are you accepting a request?
Yep, but also no new requests. Covering all our bases
Very
here.
well then.
And while we're here, let's stop in and say hi to Igor. I don't see us probably heading back to Tartarus tonight unless the game really pushes us that way, so this might be our last chance to see him today.
Welcome to the Velvet Room.
I just want to thank him as well. Thank you, Igor, Elizabeth, for your support for everything. It was quite the busy night last night, and I don't think I'd have done as well if I didn't have the persona you helped me create. So, thank you very much.
We look forward to your next visit.
Gosh, it's getting hot again. This kind of heat calls for some Aojiru sorbet. It's a product I tried pushing once, but it didn't sell. Apparently people only used it for dares. But enough of that. Take your time, do some browsing. Yep, no new medicines either. Thankfully I was well enough prepared for the weekend that I don't think I used any of my inventory. It's nice to have that now to carry forward.
Done already?
Yep, it was a quick stop. I'm not here for medicine, but just wanted to check in and say hi.
Come again, yeah?
I will. And today's game at Game Parade is House of the Deceased, game to work on courage. And Real Wheel Racer to work on our persona's agility. I think that covers everything we wanted to see here, so let's make our way back to the school. I've said it before, but even still, it's hard on these fast travel menus when they come up. I'm still so used to past playthroughs of the game of just going right where I want to go, but I'm trying to explore more of the school and come in through the gates like a normal person. I figure this is going to be our school for the year. We might as well enjoy it. I say as I run right past the room I was headed for. I haven't been to too many of the Fashion Club meetings, though, so I'll give myself a break on that. And before we head in, let's also check on our social links here and get all refreshed on where we last left things with Bebe. I believe we went and got tea and sweets at the station mall there, and he talked about his love for Japan and wanted to ask us more questions, but we ran out of time. And it was, I think he revealed that his aunt was the one that's supporting him over here. She lives back in France. Bebe seems to love everything about Japanese culture. He told me the reason he can study abroad is because his aunt back in France is aiding him. All right. I'm happy I was able to recall that and be fairly accurate with what the game tells us as well. So, let's see what we can do with the Fashion Club today. I think that's a good way to take it easy and get to know him a little bit more and just move on with our day. Same. Yep. Every time I think about it in Tartarus when I'm going to pull the map up, half the time I have to look down at the little, cheat sheet of buttons on my screen there, or I'll like, oh, where's my map? So, oh, here's the menu. Where's my menu? Yep, that's my phone. So yeah, I'm right there with you on the buttons. That shouldn't be hard. Somehow I find a way to make them hard. It's the home economics room. The Fashion Club meets today. I've got Nigi Mitamo with me, so that should help. Let's spend some time after school with the Fashion Club.
So up, so down, so all around. If the cuckoo doesn't sow, then I will show it. We should take a break for now.
Sure.
You have gotten much better at this. Subarashi, wonderful.
Nice encouragement. Yeah, I'm not sure how much our character knew coming into joining the Fashion Club. He does seem to be quite competent already, though. But I'm sure he's learned a lot from Bebe. Yeah, I want to think I can do better, but I also need to realize that he gave me a compliment and he is trying to encourage me, so I should be thankful for that. So I'm going to say thanks.
I have to get better too.
I hear you. We can't just rest as we are.
I am glad to have such a great Tomodachi as my rival.
Nice, we're rivals now.
By the way, I have a question for you.
Okay.
I would like to make something Japanese, but what?
Well, he wants to make something Japanese, so suggesting Western clothes seems to kind of throw his suggestion back in his face, so I'm probably not going to pick that one. He seems to be quite the fan of Japan, so he seems to probably, I would think, have lots of ideas already. But I guess he didn't ask me to have me throw it back at him. He's asking me for my opinion. And if I'm thinking of, Japanese things, a kimono really does sound like, the epitome of an option. Yeah, I think suggesting a kimono. He wants the opinion of someone from the area, so let's give him one. How about a kimono?
A kimono!
I think that was a good choice.
Yes! It has to be a kimono.
He's just so passionate about things. I really enjoy his character.
But, kimonos are very hard to make.
I have heard that said. I wouldn't know the first thing about it myself, but I have heard it said.
I don't really know where to start. And the material is not exactly affordable.
A couple stumbling blocks in our plan, then.
I have to think about it. But I appreciate the advice.
That can be the fun thing about talking ideas like this out with friends, too. It's like, even if something seems unfeasible right now, just having the idea planted in your head, you start to rationalize and see other ways. It's like, well, maybe if we do it this way, or if I try that, then it would work. Or, here's a line of thought I hadn't considered before, based on what you'd said. So I think we've kind of planted that seed of an idea in his head.
You are the only one I can talk to here in this country.
I'm glad to fill that role. It'd be nice to help him encounter other people that are like-minded as well, but I get that that's a challenge, so I'm just glad to be there for him in the capacity that I am.
As long as I have you, I will be okay. Daijoubu.
All right, well, I'm on your side, Bebe. I'll be there for you. Bebe seems pretty grateful. I feel like we're growing closer. Very nice. That is rank 3 in the Temperance Arcana. So now we are at least rank 3 or higher on all of the social links we know about. Good balanced progress.
Oh la la, look at the time. I must make my way home now.
Time does seem to fly when we're doing things we enjoy.
See you later.
I parted ways with Bebe and went back to the dorm. Well, it felt like a good after-school time. Getting to know him a little bit more, giving him an idea, improving my own sewing as well.
Oh, welcome back.
Oh hey, welcome back. Kirijo-senpai and Sanada-senpai went to the hospital to pay Yamagishi-san a visit. I wonder if she's alright. Well, I take it that means we're not looking at Tartarus tonight. I've called it out before, and it's become part of our regular routine at this point, but one thing I love that this game does, we kind of talked the other day about just those fun little details that don't change anything, but they're still really fun to encounter, is coming home after school and stopping in the room here. It's just so nice to be able to come up here and see that bag I had on my shoulder. I put it away now. It's in the closet or wherever I went with it, but it doesn't change anything about the evening. I can still talk to people and have it on, and that won't do anything different. But just the thought of getting home from a busy day that I've been on my feet all day and just, throwing that aside, not having to carry it around anymore, feels kind of nice. And it's not really a hidden detail. I'm sure many people have noticed it as well, but I always liked it, so I like to call attention to it every once in a while. It gives me a reason to come up to the room as well. A lot of times in past playthroughs, this was just a place where the day started, and I never really saw it again, so making it more of a world. We'll check out lots of ads tonight. A limited menu today at Hagakure. Today is our special menu day. We only have limited quantities, so get yours before they run out. First come, first served. Our tender pork is a friend of beautiful skin. Make yourself shine by eating at Hagakure. Mandragora. Let all your stress out by singing at the top of your lungs. How about some karaoke tonight? We hope to see you. A word from the manager. We're seeing a lot of solo customers lately. If you've got what it takes to perform on your own, then come on down. And Chagall Cafe urgently seeking workers. Chagall is very busy today, and we could use all the help we can get. Students may apply, no experience required. Those who work today will receive a bonus on top of the normal paycheck. We look forward to meeting you. Yep, a very small handful of people were able to spend some time with the social link tonight. It's not one we have access to yet, but one of these days we'll be there. So most people went the daily life approach, obviously, since Tartarus is off the table. I think Junpei and Yukari both had some stuff to say downstairs, so let's start by talking to them. It's been a long day too. Let's stop here and get cleaned up, and get our thoughts in order. See if I think about the potatoes that we've got planted up on the roof, or if there's other things on my mind. Nope, just the potatoes. Got a week till those can be harvested. It's almost kind of nice to have that reminder. And the game does a good job calling that out too once they're ready to harvest. But especially since I'm playing this at a daily pace, it can be kind of hard to remember that, oh yeah, in 7 real days I can go harvest those potatoes. And checking the TV has been another regular part of our fun. You have to be prepared and carry an umbrella during the rainy season. The fight between those with umbrellas and the driving wind is still being waged today. That concludes our special report. Next, the news, followed by a look at everyone in recovery from apathy syndrome. And yeah, just like last month, after the full moon, there were news reports about cases of apathy syndrome subsiding. We're seeing more of that again today, too. Yukari? Yeah, just a nice night for a break, isn't it?
Hey, so...
I bet Kirijo-senpai and Sanada-senpai are trying to convince Yamagishi-san to join our team. That worries me. Junpei, good manga. Kirijo-senpai and Sanada-san are both at the hospital checking up on Yamagishi. That means no Tartarus tonight. Guess we gotta find something random to do to kill some time. Well, after a busy night last night, the full moon and the whole rescue, I'm sure we're ready for some just easy, low-pressure night. Maybe something fun. Knowing that I still need to work on my charm before I can do anything here with this unobtained yet social link gives me kind of a nudge in that direction for a social skill to look at working on. I believe Game Parade was Courage. I know I checked that this afternoon, and I have a tendency for forgetting what's going on there, but yes, it was House of the Deceased. So we could go do some gaming and work on our Courage. I don't sleep in class, so I'm kind of missing out on some Courage that can be gained that way. We could work at Chagall Cafe. They're paying a bonus today because it is busy, and that would gain a little bit of progress in both Courage and Charm. We've done a lot of that recently. Well, not a lot necessarily, but enough. We'll head over to the station mall here, though, and just see what else is going on. Nobody else to see to talk to here. We went to Wild Duck the other day and didn't quite make it through the Wild Duck challenge this week, but we'll see next weekend. Maybe that'll be our time. So yeah, we could get a meal at Hagakure. They advertised a couple different times to us. And that actually would work on our charm. There's a special menu today, they said in the most recent ad. We've got 30,000 yen. Working part-time wouldn't be bad, especially since they're paying a little bit extra. Thinking about our quest as well. I know we talked to Elizabeth earlier, but is there anything? No, just got to do the Big Eater challenge. Everything else is Tartarus based. We are level 3 across the board on our social stats. Confident, determined, and above average. Since we know that more charm will help us in the most immediate future with the man in the suit, maybe I should look at that. And that being the case tonight, I guess our options really are narrowed down to either working a shift at Chagall or getting some ramen downstairs here. I guess, while we're here, let's browse the net cafe. I think it's probably still going to be the same 2 bits of software from the other day, but you never know. I would have been right, though, if I had any money on it. One of these days, I'm going to have to pick these up and just get them used. Could be something we do tonight. Nobody else is on the shared computer tonight. I remember last time we went, Mitsuru was doing some computer work on information about the dorm. And she said she had just finished up when we got back there to use the computer. But I just didn't want to be in the way either. All this talk about yesterday being busy, the combat wasn't that hard. It was really helpful to have Fuuka and her ability guidance on there to let us know what the enemy's weaknesses were. But the individual battles with the other shadows I fought, those weren't terribly challenging, thankfully. I mean, it was a busy day and a late night, so I'm sure today there is still some of that residual recovery feel going on. But you know, at the same time, I'm kind of thinking more about headed over to Chagall. Working a shift there would get us a tiny bit of progress in both of the stats I'm looking at. It would also get us a bit of money. That would just, I mean, as I've always been saying, you can never have enough yen in this game. It always feels like anytime I have any amount, it's still not enough for what I need it for. It probably won't be that long before we can start advancing up Tartarus again, and there's going to be new stock available for purchase from Officer Kurosawa, so having a little bit more money wouldn't hurt. Or to summon personas out of the compendium, or really anything like that. And there's only so many times you can work at Chagall Cafe. I think it's just Mondays through Wednesdays. And I am standing here right now, so I think that is probably where I'm leaning towards. Also just realizing I don't think I've saved it at all yet today, so let's remedy that before something goes wrong. Also our calendar. So there was something else I was thinking about doing. Yeah, this is the first time in a while we haven't really had anything blocked on our calendar. I'm sure that can change at the drop of a hat, but last month we had a week-long set of exams to go through, and then the following week we had... There wasn't a whole lot that week, but it kind of transitioned then into the investigation. The person was found unconscious in front of the school. I think that had been on the Saturday after exams. And then that entirety of last week was looking through and talking to people for the investigation part of things, and the mysterious boy warned us of the full moon. So we just had so much on our plate that just kept getting added to last week. So now to get to this point and just see it wide open. As wide open as having a high school life is, I suppose. It looks wide open to me right now since I'm just playing a game, but to him it's like, okay, yeah, I've got school for for an unknown amount of time here. Probably until, after finals next month. But yeah, there's nothing right now that is especially critical. We're waiting for Yamagishi to recover and seeing if maybe we can convince her to join the team. It's not really super critical to know that tonight, but that was that. So let's save the game again because I know I just did that, and let's head to Chagall Cafe and put in some good hard work. It's just one shift. It will be hard work. It would be easier to go to the arcade or to go get a nice meal. Sure, that would also cost us money. And as I've said before, there's a lot to be said for putting in the time and earning your own way through. Working one shift, it will be work, but I'll come away with some money. I get that pheromone coffee for working there as well. And just that pride and peace of mind of putting in that work and earning what's mine and being able to put it towards the team. All good things. So let's be a productive member of the team and work a night at Chagall Cafe. We were able to take it easy in the afternoon with Bebe as well, so that was kind of a nice break from it all, just to be able to chat with him, get our hands and learn some more sewing. So it wasn't like we were, busy all day. We had school during the day, but after that, it was a bit of a time to relax and just casually learn some new stuff. Let's work a part-time shift. It's pretty crowded today. I have to work more efficiently than usual. My customer's baby was bawling, but I managed to soothe them gracefully. Despite being busy, I responded to complaints about the slow service with sincerity. That's always hard. I've worked in customer service situations in the past too, where it happens, you get busy. And there's not a whole lot you can do about it other than apologize to the customers. And I know from the customer side too, they don't really want to hear that or necessarily care, but I can relate to our character and what he's going through on both sides of that. Gave you a little bonus on top of your usual pay. Thanks for helping out during a peak time. 4,000 yen. I'll like to see that. And a little bit of progress in our charm and our courage. Again, we need all of those we can get. I don't expect us to level either of those up. We did that not that long ago. It's not an overnight thing where you just get more charming or more courageous. But to be at level 3 on all of our stats, and it's only early June, we're making good steady progress already. It's getting late. I should head back to the dorm. Alright. that takes us to the end of Tuesday the 9th. Let's head back to the desk and talk about it. Okay, here we are back at the desk. And that was the end of Tuesday, June 9th. And it was another good day. Coming off of the busy day that was Monday, it really felt like it was a much easier day today. There was no venturing into Tartarus, no full moon, no strong shadows to deal with. This was just more of a normal, typical Tuesday day. Even just getting to save at the end of the day like I did and stop the gameplay during the day change was a nice departure from yesterday. I wasn't able to save the game yesterday due to the fact that it went right into today, so I ended up starting today from after school, which is kind of unusual for my Persona a day style. So it's just nice to be back on a more traditional track with that. But looking back at the day, it was still a nice full day. Mitsuru met us before school and gave us an update on Moriyama and Yamagishi. It said that they are both in the hospital, but they are doing well and recovering. They should be released in a couple of days, ideally. So that was nice to just get that follow-up from last night. We were hopeful that things were going to be okay, but to get more solid confirmation of that fact was very encouraging. So that was a nice way to start the day. Came into school, and the game didn't call anything out to us in anything specific, so I like to just think that it was, that standard bit of school. Taking notes, quizzes, all that fun stuff. Lunch in the middle to break it all up. And with that, it just kind of took us to the after-school time. And we were back to the normal routine of having all of our different social links available to spend some time with. A lot of people had new things to say coming off of the full moon, and so it was fun to kind of just roam the school again. I'd said in the time I was still kind of in that investigation mindset of going through and talking to everybody and seeing everything. And I do like to talk to people and see things in game because there are so many little things that they can say that will give us information down the road. But that was just as fun today to go through and see. We made our way around town though, stopped at all the different places. Nobody had anything new to sell me at the mall. I tried that, but they didn't want to sell me anything new, so I was happy keeping my yen. But that took us back to the school after all that, to spend the remainder of our afternoon with Bebe. It had been a while since we spent any time in the fashion club, and he was the lowest level of our current social links, so it was kind of a thought to hopefully get him more in line with everything else. That just makes it that much easier once we're fusing more Persona as well. We can get that free experience bonus from having them at a higher level, so that was kind of a win-win there. But we went and we focused on sewing, as one does in the fashion club. At one point, Bebe asked me what my thoughts were on a project he had been thinking about. He wants to make something Japanese and wanted an opinion from somebody from Japan. And thankfully, I picked the right option. It gave me the choice of asking him what he thought or what was interesting to him, or suggesting he make something Western, or suggesting a kimono. And I picked the kimono. That sounded like the quintessential Japanese thing to make, and he loved the idea. He seemed extremely excited about that. Before a little bit of reality set in, and he said, "Oh, that's very complicated and very costly for the materials." But he didn't let that deter him. He still seemed excited and said, "Thank you so much for the suggestion. I will look into that and consider it." So hopefully he's doing the research there and considering what his options are. And I felt good being able to actually weigh in and give him some opinion that he was happy to have. And he revealed then that I'm one of the few people he can talk to and that he feels comfortable around here in Japan. You and I, we've all kind of talked about that last time especially, and just how potentially lonely it would be for someone like that to come from France all the way over to Japan and not have anybody, to just be over here in a place you love, but still kind of that isolated feeling. So I was also a transfer student. No, not quite the same level of transferring from France, but he was able to see some level of solidarity with me, and it was nice to be there for him and kind of just trade notes on things like that. And it sounds like he still relies on me in that capacity, maybe to an even greater extent now. But we grew a little bit closer as a result of spending that time together and coming up with a bit of a game plan. And so, yeah, that brought us up to rank 3 in the Temperance Arcana. So it was nice to spend time with him, and it seemed like that went by pretty quickly, and it was soon time to head back to the dorm in the evening. So we did. And both Mitsuru and Akihiko were out. They were at the hospital visiting Yamagishi and Moriyama to make sure they're doing okay. It was speculated that maybe they're trying to convince Fuuka to join us. And seeing her abilities in action last night, it seems like she would be a beneficial addition to the team, but Yukari had her reservations still. I don't want to assume too much on what those might be, but we know that Fuuka was bullied and has gone through a lot already, so asking her to take on more could be weighing on Yukari a bit. But that's kind of speculation at this point. Either way, Tartarus was off the table because they were both out. So that opened up my evening to do some other things. I kind of made my way around town, and like we do, we didn't stop at just one place. We browsed a couple different places, took a look at the Net Cafe, and made more of a full evening of it. I was really close to stopping and getting dinner after the rounds, but ended up talking myself into taking a shift at Chagall Cafe. They texted us and said they were busy, so they were paying a premium, and we still get that free cup of coffee as well. And we also got to work around customers, so that gave us a chance to work on our charm and our courage, both things that need some more work for our character. And just in the moment, being able to put in a night of work for your own self, to really kind of contextualize 4,000 yen. It's like, yeah, I could go to the arcade for 3,000 yen, or I could work an entire evening for slightly more than that. It really shows the value of a yen, I guess, at this point. But earning it myself rather than just finding it in Tartarus or however else I would come across it feels like a good, productive, responsible high school sort of thing to do. And that doesn't mean we're going to, keep doing that. That's this nice part-time shift ability of just being able to stop in and work a night and not be committed to working there all the time. So other evenings that will open us up to do more fun things. But by working tonight, that also kind of fills our coffers and the ability to afford to be able to do that. So of all the options I had, it wasn't really the most relaxing or fun. It was probably kind of the exact opposite of that. But it's kind of that putting in the work now to hopefully reap the rewards later. We've got that capital now to be able to invest in something fun as we further into the week and closer to the weekend. So that was kind of my mental game plan with all that. And coming away with a couple points in charm and courage was also nice to see. It didn't rank us up to a higher level yet, but positive steps going forward. So with that, we were able to make it back to the dorm then. We weren't doing anything during the dark hour tonight, no Tartarus. No mysterious boy visits or anything like that, so it was just hopefully a nice uninterrupted night of sleep. Nice and restful, and just takes us then further into the week to overcome whatever tomorrow has for us. But with that does take us to the end of Tuesday the 9th. It was a great day. It's so weird coming off of yesterday, as busy as it was, to just kind of throw it out there and just wrap it up like that. It's like, oh yeah, we went to school, and we went to the fashion club, and then we worked a part-time job. After yesterday, doing a rescue in the tower and fighting these big shadows. But that's the kind of the fun of Persona, and each day is so different from one another. There are the supernatural combat sides of things, and then there's just the everyday high school life of going to school and doing club activities and working a part-time job. You can't really have one without the other, but tonight was that more casual, real-life side of things. But I enjoyed it, and I've been so glad to have you here with me as well. It really makes it more fun to have an actual audience and have people that know the game and are interested in watching me play it. So I want to thank you so much for being here today. My name is Tom Shima. I stream this Persona a Day series live every day at 12:30 Eastern Time. I've also got a schedule up on Twitch in case you want to see that time in your own local time. And more than that, I've got a YouTube channel where I upload every one of my day's playthroughs to a playlist there. So if you ever miss a day or want to catch up on a previous day or just want to do any of this at your own pace, at your own schedule, that's why that's available there. With that, I just hope you all have a wonderful Tuesday. I hope your week is moving forward at the right pace, that you're accomplishing the things you want to get done, that you need to get done, and that you're able to take that break and have some fun to balance it all out and enjoy it. But once again, I've been Tom Shima. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope I can see you again. Take care, and goodbye.